and folks know, like, this podcast, No Opportunity Wasted, is sort of contextualized within my Buddhist faith. Our I'm a member of an organization called the Soka Gakkai International. It's a lay Buddhist organization, and I say lay Buddhist organization because it has been around for a long time, and it's been pretty radical. And it's actually, I feel very blessed to have found this organization and community because of the radicalness of the faith. We stand firm in the fact that we are a lay Buddhist organization because we did have to separate at one point from the sort of priesthood because of this conflation that they were adamant about, sort of joining with military forces, using religion to bless war,
Yep.
action and things like that. That are things that are very egregious when it comes to the spiritual world, especially
Yep.
something like Buddhism. And so, our president, who just passed away in November, there's this quote he says, when a religion join hands with the authorities, it will ultimately find itself shackled, controlled by the government, and having lost its autonomy. Such a religion will inevitably discard its original purpose to work for people's happiness and sell its souls to those in power.
Yeah, religion is used for horrible things. Again, Buddhism is such a peaceful, amazing religion, but there have been people throughout history, both historically and in the present, who use Buddhism for violent means. And that seems
All
so wild.
religious
Exactly.
organizations have had
Exactly.
to evolve past very
Yes.
primitive ways of approaching spirituality.
Yeah. No, and so again, our film talks about a lot that there has been this conflation between basically support for Israel and our religion. And again, if you take a step back, you can realize how dangerous that is. Again, like, do people think that, if you're Muslim, you need to support Saudi Arabia? That if like we can realize that that's ridiculous, right? We can realize that Saudi Arabia is a country, they have a government, and that government is totally separate from the religion of Islam. But when it comes to Israel, partly because it's the only Jewish country, but also because we've invested so much into Israel, we've invested our identities into Israel. A lot of us want to believe that Israel and Judaism are the same thing. Judaism is a multiple thousands of year old religion. Israel has been around for 75 years, and like many other countries, has done horrible things. Again, America has done very similar things to Israel. America and Israel have very similar histories.
Listen, there's a
Um,
conversation that is happening and that is going to happen. And I think that those who have been in power for so long are truly have not been prepared for the tide that has been turning, and it has been turning for a minute, and it has
yep.
been making its rounds around the world. I believe that the energy that we're seeing right now is the energy that we've seen with the UK, and sort of now people having a different perspective on the monarchy, on having a king or having a queen, and thinking about the fact that you still have the heads of some of our kings on display in your museum. You still have stolen goods from countries
Oh yeah.
on display. There's still a relationship that has not been atoned with some of these islands and things like that when it comes to colonization. And so I think there's a conversation, as well as imperialism in America and all of this, where they have tried to keep us so uninformed and uneducated with all of this. And so the more that we are informed, the more we are starting to want to move into a space of atonement, a space of acknowledging the history and the things that have happened. And I think that the powers that be know this, and that's why they're trying to fastly get rid of the history books.
Totally. No, I mean, I always say when people say, why are you only criticizing Israel? I'm like, I'm not. I criticize America and Britain the exact same way. They've done, again, what America and Britain have done, very similar to what Israel's done, just on a much larger, scale. So it's like I do criticize Israel, of course, but also I criticize those countries just the same. Like, I can look. All I'm trying to do is just look honestly at what's happened in history, right? And in
Mm-hmm.
America,
Mm-hmm.
we can do
Mm-hmm.
that and realize that we don't hate all Americans, right? I can talk honestly about the history of slavery, talk honestly about the history of ethnic cleansing of Native Americans. People don't think that I hate all Americans.
Right.
Whereas when I say the same things, when I look critically at Israeli history, people sometimes think that I hate all Israelis or even I hate all Jews when I'm Jewish. It's like all I'm trying to do is just be honest about the tragedies of our history. And I can do that, right, just like I talk about the tragedies of American history too.